Ready to step outside your comfort zone with me today? Because in this tutorial, I'm ditching my usual soft light cardstocks and going bold and bright with sparkling sentiment that steals the spotlight. And since we are celebrating Eid, a beautiful time of joy, gratitude, and togetherness, I thought this was the perfect chance to create something extra special and heartfelt. Hello everyone, I'm Revati and welcome to my crafty space. Let's make this vibrant Eid Mubarak card together. I'll be using the Eid Mubarak Die by Altenio. This features a beautiful Arabic script for Eid Mubarak, and it's absolutely perfect for creating dimensional cards for the festivities. What I really love about this die is that it's large enough to work as a standalone sentiment, making it the main focal point of your card front. And even though the lettering is quite delicate and intricate, it cuts everything in one piece, so you can be rest assured that all the elements line up perfectly. The only other element on my card front beside that gorgeous sentiment die will be the stellar sequins along with some metallic splatters. These little details add just the right touch of sparkle and interest without taking away from the main focal point. To complement that, I'll be pairing it with a gorgeous embossed background using the Diamond Stars 3D embossing folder again from Altenio, which adds just the right amount of texture and interest without taking away from our focal sentiment. Like I mentioned in the introduction, I'm really stepping out of my comfort zone for this card, ditching my usual soft light cardstocks and going bold and bright this time around. For my card, I'm using a deep navy blue cardstock, and once we emboss it, that rich dark color really helps all that beautiful texture stand out in such an elegant way. And for my sentiment, I wanted something that truly shines and becomes the focal point of our card. So I'm using a gorgeous glitter cardstock from Your Paper Insider to die cut that intricate Eid Mubarak design. The sparkle against that dark blue background creates such a striking contrast and it really brings the whole card to life. I'm going to start by embossing my panel. I've cut this piece to 4 by 5 1 quarter, which is slightly smaller than your standard A2 size card base, perfect for layering and giving some dimension to the front of your card. Now for this panel, I'm using an 80-pound cardstock. It's a bit lighter than the heavyweight cardstocks I usually prefer for my card bases, but that actually works in our favor for embossing because it takes the texture beautifully. To make sure that the paper doesn't crack or tear while running it through my die cutting machine, I slightly spritz it with a little water. This softens the fibers just enough to make embossing smooth and clean. And just take a moment to look at that pattern. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? The design is crisp, detailed, and gives such a tactile texture that immediately makes your card feel so special. One of my favorite things about these embossing folders is that how versatile they are. You can use either side of the panel, the raised embossed or the debossed side, and both look stunning. Each side gives a slightly different effect, but both are equally beautiful and can completely transform your card depending on the look you're going for. It's amazing how a simple panel can add so much dimension and interest to your card. Well, even though we are working with a dark, bold background, how could we ever skip the splatters? I pulled out my metallic watercolor palette and picked a shade that closely matched the glitter cardstock that I'll be using for my sentiment. This way, everything ties together beautifully. I brought the panel over to my splatter box and added a few delicate splatters of this gorgeous metallic color. And can I just say, I absolutely love how these almost platinum like splatters pop against the deep navy blue cardstock. They add just the right amount of sparkle and movement without taking away from the main focal point. It's amazing how a few simple splatters can instantly elevate a card design, giving it a little extra shine and personality while still keeping the design clean and elegant. I'm going to let this panel dry completely, and in the meantime, we can move on to cutting our Eid Mubarak sentiment. The glitter cardstock that I'm using is from Your Paper Insider. It's a fairly thick paper, which is perfect for bold, sparkly sentiments. But when you're working with intricate dies like this one, I definitely recommend running it through your die cutting machine a couple of times. You can also add a scrap piece of cardstock as an extra shim to give a bit more pressure and ensure clean, crisp cuts. To save time for today's tutorial, I went ahead of camera and cut my sentiment from glitter cardstock plus two more from plain white cardstock. I'll be stacking these white layers underneath the glitter piece to create a thicker base. This adds stability to the intricate and delicate die cut, making it much more easier to handle and adhere onto that textured card front. Take a look at how gorgeous that glitter cardstock really pops against that navy blue background. When it comes to adhering intricate die cuts like this one, I really like using my liquid glue. You could also use spray adhesive, but I find that liquid glue works best for these delicate pieces. The reason is simple, it gives you a little wiggle room so you can adjust and make sure every part of that intricate die lines up perfectly. That way, you get a clean, seamless look and your sentiment sits beautifully on the card front without any gaps or misalignment. Now that our background panel is completely dry and our main focal point, the beautiful Eid Mubarak sentiment, is ready, we can adhere it to the card front. Again, I'm using liquid glue for this step. I carefully place the sentiment in the center of the embossed panel, making sure everything was perfectly aligned. Now, I actually kept the packaging of that Eid Mubarak die in front of me as a guide. Since I don't read or write Arabic, I wanted to make sure I was placing it exactly as it should be. But honestly, even though I don't know how to read or write Arabic, this die is just too beautiful not to use. I kept a stamping block over the sentiment for a few minutes while the glue dried, just to make sure everything stayed in place. Once it was set, I added some foam tape to the back of the panel and adhered it to a top folding A2 size card base. I have to say, I absolutely love how this card looks already. The glitter cardstock really pops against that beautifully textured background, giving it so much more dimension and elegance. But of course, I couldn't resist adding a little extra sparkle. For that, I'll be using the Stellar Sequences in the shade Rose Gold, which I thought was the closest metallic shade to match the glitter cardstock. Now, these sequins come in six sizes ranging from 2 to 8 millimeter, and for my card, I chose the 3 mm, 5 mm, and the 6 mm sizes. All of these come in these small pouches. I like to store them as is. Now, when it comes to placing sequences on my card fronts, I like to work in odd numbers. It's a simple trick that creates more balanced and visually appealing look. So I added three sequences above my sentiment and two below, arranged diagonally to create a subtle yet elegant movement that draws the eye across the card. It's such a small detail, but it really adds that extra touch of sparkle and completes the design beautifully. And just like that, our bold yet elegant Eid Mubarak card is complete. I absolutely love how this turned out, and I hope it inspires you to try some fun, bold designs too. If you want more Eid card ideas using the same exact die set, I do have a 2 for 1 Eid Mubarak card video where I share tips on die cutting and ink blending. I will leave a link to that video in the description box below. I have also listed all the supplies I used for this card in the description so you can easily recreate it at home. Please know that all of those links will be affiliate links, which means that if you shop using one of my links, I'll get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Thank you again for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe and Eid Mubarak to all you guys.